In this town, we drive trucks.
It's just what we do.
In this town, we hold doors open for ladies.
It's just what we do.
In this town, we have fun.
It's just what we do.
In this town,
we play football.
It's just what we do.
In this town,
we go to Ferris Orthodontics.
it's just what we do.
It's just what we do.
Welcome to Inside Rangers Football. Smithson Valley is heading to the region semifinals as the Rangers won their second round game this past Friday, 35-0 over San Antonio Stevens. Brian Freeman here with you. Along with me is Rangers head coach Larry Hill. Coach, looking at the two playoff opponents you've had so far, I have to start here today talking about the defense. You hold Reagan about 49 points a game to 7, and the 7 came late in the ballgame when the game was already decided. Stevens was averaging about 42 points a game going into the game last week. So two playoff opponents, between them about 90 points a game, you've held them to 7. Is this the best two-game stretch you've seen this defense play?
Well, I would certainly this year we have. We beginning to play a little better in every phase of the game, and some things have really come together for us defensively the last couple of weeks. We have spent a lot of the year moving guys around, moving Part A over to where Part B was, and this one gets hurt, so we shift him here. Kid plays linebacker. Let's look at him at defensive tackle. Let's look at him at defensive end. He's back at linebacker, moving linebacker to end. We've done a lot of that in an effort to give ourselves a chance to be long range better on defense. And we've resisted the notion to kind of lock in a lineup in August and go with it. Just keep tinkering with the parts until we try to get something that works for us. And I don't know that we're the finished product by any stretch. We feel like we can play better, but the last 2 weeks the results have been, you're right, they've been certainly good.
What we saw against Reagan was a lot of fourth down stops, a lot of bending but not breaking for your defense. Against Stevens, you got turnovers and got field position. Right. As a result, really made life a lot easier for your offense.
No doubt. We're +3 in turnovers last week. We got 3 takeaways and took care of the ball ourselves. And when you start talking about what that does for you, that gets extra possessions for your offense. That usually gets a short field for your offense. Both of the interceptions ran down into their territory and set the offense up with great field position. So, and then I think more than anything, it has the effect of energizing your team, perhaps demoralizing the other team. So, it's good for the moment that you stopped them, but at the same time, it helps your whole football team. Defense played well. They were the key to the victory.
Well, looking at the play of the offense, you did score 35 points on Friday, and Josh Adkins, very accurate, 15 of 17 passing. Derek Hauser, another big day, over 160 yards receiving. A lot of balance for you offensively. Passing game, again, was on point. What'd you like?
Well, the balance thing that you just mentioned. Early on, they stacked the box, kind of forced us into some things and away from some things that we maybe had planned on doing. We had to throw the ball, particularly vertical, up the field early in the first half. Got a few big plays, left a few out there, but and that seemed to open some things up, loosened up the secondary. After half, our running game really came on, and we ended up, yardage-wise, pretty balanced. It was pretty top-heavy in the first half. So I thought the offense did a great job of taking what the defense gave them, because that changed a little bit throughout the course of the game.
All right, so we've looked at the defense so far, 2 games into the playoffs, offense as well. What have you liked about special teams?
Well, I think we're beginning to come on in certain areas. I think our exchange of punts has been good. I think our punting yardage, our punting net has been good. We've limited opponents. We're doing a nice job of fielding the ball or forcing a shank or whatever. Our kickoff returns have been, only got 1 the other night, but all in all has been good. Our extra point field goal game has improved. We got a long way to have had a long way to go, and I think that's beginning to improve. And that's big, because in the playoffs, just like any big game, that's where big plays occur, and we put a lot of emphasis on it.
Well, you've not played 12 football games. Certainly the team is energized and pleased to be where it's at. Is there any concern over wear and tear at this point of the season?
Yeah, there is a little bit. We've tried to do some things, keep our players fresh. We've shortened certain segments of practice. We're a little bit less physical, a little bit less contact in certain areas. There's some times when we're meeting a little bit more than actually being on the practice field. Because you're right, it is a marathon, not a sprint, but we're beginning to get to the end of the marathon, and we've got to have enough energy to finish it.
You know, sometimes in the playoffs, you'll play a Thursday night game at 7 o'clock. The next week, play Saturday at 12:30. You've gone, you know, from Friday to Friday, 7 o'clock or 7:30 to 7:30 kick, and will again this coming week. Does the rhythm of that help?
It does, because that's the rhythm you're most used to. Because most of the time during the year, you're Friday to Friday. And so we've tried to stay on that as long as we can. You mentioned the first two games. This week's game's on a Friday. If there is a next week, we're not exactly sure yet. But, you know, there's comfort in a routine, and I think our players are comfortable with that.
Again, Smithson Valley is third round bound, courtesy of a big win over Stevens this past Friday, 35-0. Plenty of big plays. Let's go back and take a look at them on film.
Let's take a look. Our first play of the week is a defensive play. Big interception by Deion Staley. We have two defenders circled. Deion's to the right or at the middle of the screen, and down below is Tylen Bynum, who's our cornerback, standing out here near the sideline. They're going to play high-low coverage on the Stevens' best receiver into the short side of the field. As the ball snapped, Tylen down at the bottom is moving forward to take away the short route, and Deion's moving over the top to take away the deep route. Play unfolds. We've got him bracket covered. You can see as the ball comes down, Deion's in perfect position to make the interception. Of course, we intercepted on this side of the 50, gets a big return, gets the thing down almost to the 20-yard line, 23-yard line. Our offense goes in for a score a short time later. Big play on defense. Here's a good look at it from the rear. You can see Deion just in the middle of the screen with the arrow pointing on his head. Tylen's just off the screen with the other arrow. They're trying not to show that coverage too early. They want the quarterback to think he has an open area, and then Deion spots that it is a pass, begins to move into position. We got him bracketed, and then Deion intercepts it at the high point. And once again, from a different angle, you see him the cross-field return, picks up a few blocks, gets the ball down to the 23-yard line, and our offense a short field. Big play by those two young men. This is one of our touchdown passes just a few plays later. This is a run-pass option. Josh can hand the ball off to our tailback, running behind our fullback into the middle, or he can throw the ball out to Matt Sandoval with the arrow, lead blocking by Derek Hausler. He elects to throw it, throws the ball out there. Great block here by Derek coming up on their safety. And then Matt makes one and two guys miss and gets it into the end zone. Big play, 3-and-1 play, and our quarterback makes us right, and we're well executed. Again, the ball is snapped. It could be a run into this voided area right here, or it could be a pass. The decision is made to throw the pass because numerically we have an advantage. There's a great block by Derek. As you mentioned, Matt does a nice job making people miss and gets it into the end zone. Fumble is after he's down, so it is a touchdown. This is a blitz. Josh Ernst with the arrow pointing down and Jaden Deaton with a circle around him are going to combine for a blitz and get a big sack on the Stevens quarterback. As the play unfolds, you can see Josh going upfield, and then Jaden Deaton blitzes inside of his alignment. Opens up an alley, gets after the quarterback, and actually forces him back to where Josh is. And then they combine on a sack on a big play, and they end up losing 6 or 7 yards. Get a good look at it here from the rear. There they both are. Jaden's going to go inside and then blitz through the inside, and then Josh is going to go up the field and contain him outside. Drawing a bead on him. Quarterback avoids him. When he does, he runs right back into Josh, and then Jaden gets him from the other side. Great play by those two young men working together. Those are our plays of the week.
All right, Coach. Well, again, we see the big play there from Derek Hausler, and one of the first plays we saw was the interception from Deion Staley. Deion had interceptions in each of the first 2 games of the season. Good to see him get back in the interception column.
Well, it was good to get him back on the field. He's been, he's had an extended period of time there where he wasn't playing from injuries, and then he's got back and gradually gotten back into form. And another pick, big pick. Of course, he scored on the first 2, so we're a little upset that he didn't get in the end zone this time. But
right.
Now Deion's proven the ability to make big plays, not just on defense, but in the special teams. It's good to see him make that one.
All right, again, the Rangers' big winners over the Falcons this past Friday. We're going to preview the game coming up against Harlingen in just a bit here on Inside Rangers Football.
No problem, sir. Glad I could help. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for calling GVPC. Woo! That's right, Jason! Thank you for calling GVTC. This is Jeff.
Call today and ask for a gig, which is up to 1,000 megabits per second internet speed through the GVTC Giga region. Unlimited long-distance phone service, 24/7 home security monitoring, and free whole home DVR with our HD TV service. GVTC, just plain smart.
If we fight, if we believe, we can't be beat.
Watch NFL Network, GVTC Digital Cable Channel 579. GVTC, just plain smart.
Welcome back to Inside Rangers Football. Our preview of the third round game against Harlingen is coming up in just a bit, but right now we're going to take a look at the passing game for the Rangers, a concept called hook flat in this week's Little Men.
In an earlier show, we discussed what was known as the smash concept in a passing game. What makes the quarterback throw over here? What makes him throw to this receiver? What makes him throw to that receiver? We thought we'd bring Coach Jeff Shin, our wide receiver coach, in here and talk about another concept, which is affectionately known as the curl flat concept. And we're going to let Coach Shin take it over, but this is a drop back pass where the quarterback has multiple options, and Coach will take us through what makes us throw to one option over the other. So, Coach, talk to us about curl flat.
All right, curl flat, one of the most basic concepts in the passing in football. First things first, we give our quarterback a yes-no read on the backside of the curl flat. And what he's looking at is our single receiver, which is right here. If he doesn't have safety help or we have a one-on-one coverage, he can decide to throw a 12 to 14-yard hook route, basically taking advantage of man coverage. If he doesn't like man coverage or he doesn't like the hook route because we have two defenders on that route, we will work our curl flat concept. Our curl flat concept will start with our inside receiver. His job is to clear this high safety and get him out of the play, and now we are picking on the flat defender with a flat route out of the backfield and a hook route with our outside receiver. The hook route, we want it to look like a post, but then he's going to hook based off of the flat defender. The back will run fast to the flats, and now we have put a curl flat concept on this flat defender, and if he chooses the flat defender, we throw the curl. If he sits in the curl, we throw the flat, try to catch the ball, and keep the chains moving.
So we're trying to make this one wrong. No matter who he covers, we're going to go 2-on-1. We'll throw the ball to whoever he doesn't cover if we've decided not pre-snap to make the backside throw. 3 options, curl flat on one side, single route on the other. Theoretically, we can't be wrong if we'll just make the right decision. So that's what it looks like with the little men. Let's go see the Rangers in action on the big screen. Our examples here show the pass to all 3 of the options mentioned in the little man concept. The first one you can see with the circle there, that area over there on the weak side is voided. So even though most of the receivers are to the wide side of the field, our quarterback drops back, ignores them, and decides to throw the simple hook route to the backside. No one's in the throwing lane. Pretty easy throw and catch. You see he made the first down, and the drive stays alive. Quarterback sees what we just discussed and makes the backside throw. In the same game, the same play. In fact, going the same direction. This time, you see a man in that zone. So before the ball snapped, our quarterback has ruled out throwing over there. So now he's going to look over here. Looking for the flat route first. As the play unfolds, we have one guy going down into the flats, the short route, and the other man hooking just inside the hash mark there. With the circle around him is the key defender. If he covers one, we throw to the other, and vice versa. He drops, gets hung up covering the curl route. We throw it in the flats, make 15, 18 yards, and once again the chains move. Let's look at it from the rear. Quarterback sees from the backside that that's taken away. Looking to the sideline for some direction, perhaps the play call. Knows that he can't throw to the backside or to the left. Looks to the right, first option's open, throw it out there. Pretty easy throw and catch. It's just a matter of knowing who to throw to. We have one more example. Now we've actually flipped the thing, and we're actually, the concept of the flat curl is to the left. On the backside with a circle around him indicates that this throw is taken away. So now he has two options to the left. Once again, down and out short, curl in there behind. There's the circle defender. This time the circle defender covers the short route, so we throw it in there behind him in the voided area. So there's the third example, the same play, but the example of ball coming out three different ways. Here it is from the rear. Pretty easy throw and catch. All three of these throws are easy. It's just a question of who to throw it to. The curl flat concept, almost as old as the game itself. Coach Jeff Shin, thanks for being here and explaining that to us. Now let's go to Ranger Trivia.
This week in Rangers Trivia, Smithson Valley has won 6 straight third-round playoff games, averaging 44.5 points in those wins. What's the most the Rangers have scored in a third-round game? Is the answer A, 49 points, B, 52 points, or C, 56 points? The answer is C, 56 points. The Rangers beat Laredo United 56-28 in the third round of the 05 playoffs and route to their 5th appearance in the UIL state tournament. 56 points that day against the Longhorns of United. It was 10 years ago, Coach, but a game that you remember just like yesterday.
Well, it was right out here at Ranger Stadium, and one of our assistant coaches, Brian Hill, who I know fairly well, had a 22 for 23 passing day that day. So that was memorable for a lot of reasons.
And one of the other players on that team is now also on your coaching staff as well.
Ben Woodchick, who coaches our running backs. Ben was on the sideline that day. So it either wasn't that long ago, or maybe it was, and I'm just getting old. One of the two. But it's a good day for Ranger football.
And you mentioned Brian, by the way, with his performance against the Longhorns, he got some statewide recognition.
He's Player of the Week for that thing. I don't know if he deserved that or not, but he'll tell you that he was.
All right. Well, again, the Rangers won that game. Hopefully, history will repeat itself this upcoming Friday in the game against Harlingen. A game we'll preview coming up next here in Inside Rangers Football.
Rest, ice, compression, elevation. Every day. Reagan, are you there? Hello? Are you in there?
Pemmicky, I'm sorry. I am so hungry. I need some Chicken Express.
Yeah, Chicken Express does sound good.
With our famous chicken tenders and the best sweet tea in Texas, if someone isn't paying attention to you, they're thinking about Chicken Express.
For impact.
Watch FX, GVTC Digital Cable Channel 527. GVTC, just plain smart.
This is not wire. This is fiber. It's at the heart of the GVTC Giga region.
Ready?
Okay.
Call today and ask for a gig, which is up to 1,000 megabits per second internet speed through the GVTC Giga region. Unlimited long-distance phone service, 24/7 home security monitoring, and free whole home DVR with our HD TV service. GVTC, just plain smart.
Let me ask you a question. Do you need a video for your business? The bears poop in the woods? I guess that's a yes. Your video can be seen anywhere, at any time, and by anyone. So, what do you think of the video, Nana?
It's off the hook, honey.
Mind blown. I heard it was very expensive to make videos. Not at all when you hire Wick Productions. Do you know how easy it is making a video with Wick Productions? As easy as taking candy from a baby. So there you have it. Success is at your fingertips. Call Wick Productions today.
Welcome back to Inside Rangers Football. Smithson Valley takes on Harlingen in the third round of the 6A Division I playoffs coming up this Friday, 7:30 from Buccaneer Stadium in Corpus Christi. And Coach, the Cardinals come in with a record of 10-2. They won their second round game over McAllen Memorial 49-35 last week. This is a team that scores a lot of points. You look at what they've done throughout the year, about 40 points a game. What impresses you the most in looking at Harlingen?
Well, really just how balanced they are. You know, you mentioned high-scoring offense, but they've been very stingy on defense, haven't given up a lot of points. You mentioned a week ago, I think the Valley's all-time leading rusher played from Memorial, and you know he got loose one time, and other than that, they limited him, and they've been able to take away what a team does best on defense, and have a lot of team speed on both sides of the ball, and have a lot of tradition. You know, they're used to being in this round. Really, the last 6-8 years have been good football for the Harlingen Cardinals.
We mentioned just how prolific they've been on offense, but really predicated around the run. Last week, you faced a Stevens team which had that pro-style passing attack. Well, you kind of have to kind of wipe off the chalkboard there in preparation because this team wants to run. Well,
they've got three playmakers that they try to feature. The running back, of course, in a running game, as you mentioned, they run the quarterback. He's their second runner, and he's hurt a lot of people with his feet, but he's very underrated as a passer. And they have one receiver that they're really trying to feature, and if they can't get him the ball thrown, then they'll move him into the backfield and use a wildcat formation and direct snap to him. So they're very multiple in their alignments, very simple as far as their schemes, but very multiple in their alignments, and try to present you problems on getting lined up properly defensively. And if you don't, then they're able to exploit it. They're well coached. They're a good football team.
A lot of times on this show, I'm asking you for your scouting report on an opponent's defense, but there's a lot of familiarity. You've seen Steele before. You've seen Judson, even in non-district. They're teams you face in the San Antonio area. These first two rounds of the playoffs, they were common opponents with your playoff opposition. Harlingen is not a team that's been on your schedule before.
Right.
How do you go about scouting them and what they do defensively?
Well, you know, we have some middle school coaches who go and watch them a time or two and give us a scouting report, so we get a little information that way. And we exchange 4 films, so we have 4 of their games on tape, so we try to glean information from that. And you know, and then you just kind of go. So you're right, it's a little unnerving because the deeper you go in the playoffs, a lot of times it's like this. We don't really know this group. What do we got hold of here? So that's nervous times, but at the same time you realize it's apples to apples. They hadn't played us either. They hadn't bumped into us either. They hadn't seen us a lot. So in some ways, it's a little easier to prepare for. Let's just go do what we do and see what happens.
You know, one of the funny things about football, you open up camp in August and it is hot outside. Temperatures around 100 degrees, the challenges of, you know, making sure the team stays hydrated and all that stuff. Here we are now on the cusp of December playing this game in late November, and your practice times are happening when the temperatures are half of that of what you saw in August. What is it like to go from the transition of playing, you know, hot weather to cold now?
Well, first of all, it's a good problem to have. It beats the heck out of putting your pads up several weeks ago like a lot of teams did. But it is different. You know, we do a lot of our practicing in the morning and then finish midday. And while that's advantageous in the early part of the fall, like you said, when it's so hot, it can present problems in morning practices now. But we've been lucky so far. We do bundle up. You know, we don't stay out there long. We get off the field. And like you said, hydration is not as big a deal. But getting them rested, getting them healed up. You don't heal up quite as fast when it's cold, it seems. And but at the end of the day, sometimes you just got to bundle up and go out and get in it.
Yeah. This is a unique week, playing Thanksgiving week, and again, you mentioned the term good problem to have. That would qualify to this issue. So Thanksgiving week, school is out here in the Comal ISD. Right. Practice times shift a little bit. There is that day on Thursday when players want to spend time with their families, and then you travel Friday to Corpus Christi. Take us through the logistics of how this works.
Well, you know, Monday through Thursday, what we are doing and have done is, you know, we try to keep things as much school-like as we can. We bring them in early in the morning. Well, we still bring them in early in the morning. And then, you know, normally we'd send them to class and then we'd finish practice and meet later in the day. So we go out and do our morning practice. We take a little break, watch a little film, let them eat something, and then we go back and do our, quote, middle of the day practice, even though it's still the morning. So we finish up before lunch and our players have the rest of the day off. Now, Thursday's a little different. We have a short practice. We will again this Thursday. And instead of going to class, they'll go home to eat pie with Aunt Emma, I guess, or whoever's over at the house. And then Friday, you know, we'll meet, do the things that we normally do on game day. Instead of going to class and coming back down for the game, they'll get on the bus and we'll go to Corpus Christi. So we try to keep it you know, somewhat like it is when school's in session. It's not exactly the same, but the more closely we can keep it to their routine, the better off we are. Hopefully we're doing that.
So, Coach, before we wrap up the talk in Harlingen, what other keys come into factor in a game like this on Friday?
Well, you know, it's the typical things. I think I've said it before. Cliches are cliches because they're true and people keep repeating them. Who's going to win turnover battle? Who's going to make an impact play in the kicking game? And I think in a week like this, in a situation like this, who handles the week and the details and the hype and the trip and some of the out of the ordinary things, who handles that the best? And then if you answer those questions affirmatively, you know, well for your team, then I think you got a good chance to win the game.
Again, Smithson Valley takes on Harlingen at 7:30 this Friday from Buccaneer Stadium in Corpus. We're going to take a break at Inside Rangers Football and come back to wrap things up.
All right, y'all got it this time. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, kick, ball, change. Nice. Okay, from the beginning. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, kick, ball, change. Good job.
Call today and ask for a gig, which is up to 1,000 megabits per second internet speed through the GVTC Giga region. Unlimited long-distance phone service, 24/7 home security monitoring, and free whole home DVR with our HD TV service. GVTC, just plain smart. When you're ready for a break, hurry in to Chicken Express. Let us do all the cooking for you. We always offer high-quality, affordable meals that the entire family will enjoy. Our chicken is never frozen and is hand-battered fresh so you can really taste the difference. You can expect fast and friendly service at Chicken Express, whether you dine in, drive through, or drive up. Hurry in and hurry back to Chicken Express.
We are back at Inside Rangers Football. A quick amendment, by the way. The game Friday does not kick at 7:30, kicks at 7 o'clock Friday from Corpus Christi's Buccaneer Stadium. Coach, before we wrap up the show, another discussion about 25-6A. The district essentially won the city of San Antonio, by the way, knocking out 26-6A last week, knocking out 27-6A. You said it all season long, just how daunting this district was. Well, we're seeing it right now.
Right. If people didn't believe us, they do now. And as you've heard me say before, it's unnerving to play in 25-6A. It's a meat grinder. You don't know if you're going to be one of the ones that survive. But if you are lucky enough to survive, doesn't mean you're going to win in the playoffs. But I do think it means that you're going to be prepared. You've been in the hottest of fires, and so you've got a chance to thrive in that kind of environment. And so far, all 4 teams have.
So in Division 2, we could potentially see a region final between the 2 teams there in Cibolo, between Clemens and Steele. And here in Division 1, if the Rangers win, they'll take on the winner between Harlingen and Judson. We could potentially see a rematch of the regular season finale.
We could. You know, Laredo United is a really fine team who's got a lot of playoff tradition. Don't know how that in Judson's going to come out. Don't know how we're going to come out. We're just going to try to take care of our business. And if we're fortunate enough to do that, we'll figure out who we play, where we play, and when we play.
All right, Coach, best of luck against the Cardinals.
All right, thank you, Brant.
One more time, Smithson Valley, Harlingen, 3rd round of the 6A Division I playoffs this Friday at 7 o'clock from Buccaneer Stadium there in Corpus Christi. We'll be back next week to recap it and hopefully look ahead to the region final next week as well. For Coach Hill, I'm Brant Freeman. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch up with you again next week.
Straight.
Straight. Straight. Straight. I think you're going to take this one.
Ready? Straight.
I got it, Dr. Ferris. Us posse guys always hold the flag. Straight.
Looking at me with your arms folded up, not looking happy. Dragging your name through the mud, you should roll with a kid.
We may have hit the mother load.
$2,000?
3,000?
Profit!
All new episodes of Storage Wars, Tuesdays at 9 on A&E.
Watch A&E, GVTC Digital Cable Channel 558. GVTC, just plain smart.
Dancing is easy if you break it down into steps. So is fighting breast cancer. Step 1, shop QVC Presents Fanny Shoes on sale. Step 2, get beautiful shoes at half of the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Step 3, 80% of your purchase price benefits breast cancer research and education. Let's fight breast cancer, one step at a time.